So good day, YouTube. This is from my channel, Power of the Spoken Words. I was trying to stay out of this stuff with women and dating and marriage, but yesterday I had three generations of women: a 30-year-old, 32, and a 58-year-old. And I was talking to the 30-year-old about marriage, right? Because I was asking her, why she wasn't married, and she just said that she was dating someone, but saw some red flags that she didn't like. So, I said to her, that sounds like something you hear from the internet about this red flag and stuff that you ladies are always talking about. So I asked her, just to be curious, what were the red flags? And she said, there were certain things that she didn't like what he was doing, as she saw him doing. She just paying attention to it, before she decides to get married. So I said, did he put his hands on you? No. Called you out your name? No. Doesn't provide for you? No. He does. No. He's a very good man. So what's the red flags? And she said, I'm just paying attention because I don't want to get into something and then I can't get out of it. So you've been together for a while? She said, yes. So where's your engagement ring? She said, well, she's not ready to be engaged. I said, well, that's not something that you control, right? She goes, yeah. I said, no, that's not something you control. We control relationship. We have the one have to come to you and say we want to get engaged. So while I'm talking to her now, a 58-year-old showed up and a 32-year-old showed up. And this is when the generation gap is there. And this is the reason why women keep women single. So I said to her, so you telling me that if this guy came right now and brought you and your family, his family, your family together, get down on one knee and propose to you, you would turn him down? So while she's thinking about it, the 50-year-old jumped in and says, yes, I would turn him down because I'm not ready. So I said, could you let her answer what I just asked? So, she's thinking and she says, well, he never did. So then don't say that, you're not ready to be engaged when you don't control that, right? He was the one would have to come to you and propose to you. And he hasn't, right? So again, before she could answer me, the 50-year-old jumped in. She just said she's not ready yet. She sees some flags that she's trying to pay attention to. So I said to her, calm down. Let her answer it. Let her answer the question. I'll let you talk in a minute, but let her answer the question because she's thinking about what's being said to her. So she said, I never thought about it like that. So I said to her, so you're giving him all the benefits, right? But you're not getting a commitment. You see, well, he's committed to me. If he's committed to you, then he will give you a ring and he will let you know that you are in his thoughts, mind, feelings every day. And this is why he's doing that. But he hasn't given you a ring. So he's seen, as you say, some red flags with you. No, he hasn't. Where's the ring? Well, a ring doesn't signify an engagement. Yes, it does. It signifies to the public and to your family that somebody is interested in you. So he controls that. And until he gives you a ring, you're not engaged. So while you may be thinking that you have seen some red flags, he has some reservations, right? Because he hasn't given you one. 50-year-old still jumping in. But you hear what she said? She's paying attention because, right now she's trying to, find herself. Again, let her answer the question. So then the 50-year-old says, well, I was engaged. 58-year-old said, well, I was engaged 8 years ago. And, he gave me the ring. I had to give him back because, he wanted a $30,000 wedding and I didn't want a $30,000 wedding. So I gave him the ring back. So 8 years ago, so let me still ask. She says, and once I gave him the ring back, he moved into his father's basement. So I said, 8 years ago this happened. Yes. And you took the ring off your finger and gave it back to him. Yes. So 8 years ago, you were 50. Yes. And a 50-year-old man proposed to you, and because he wanted a $30,000 wedding and you didn't want it, you gave him back the ring. Yes. And his father agreed that he was making the biggest mistake. So a 50-year-old father, who most likely is in his 70s, close to 80, agreed with you that you should have given him back the ring. Yes. Is he married? Yeah, now he is. And he's living in the basement of his father. So how do you not know that living in the basement with his wife and children, now you just said that, he's not now saving to now buy a home? Because now, if you did this at 50, you give him back the ring. He's now 58, which means that he's either peaking at his salary or he's there now. So she's told me what he did. So I said, well, if he's a captain, he's not making a type of money 8 years ago. Maybe now he is. So she didn't believe me. So I said, look up his salary 8 years ago. $51,823. So look at his salary now. $160,000. So you see the difference from 8 years ago until now. So 8 years ago, he couldn't afford the things that you're talking about, right? But now at 58, the salary, and he has his wife in place and children in place, how you know he doesn't have a home? Well, he does have a home. Right. So you gave him back the ring 8 years ago, and now 8 years later, he's married, 2 children, and has a home? Yeah. And you gave him back the ring? Yeah. So you see why you shouldn't be telling this 30-year-old what you did, right? Because that man was nowhere near his financial goals 8 years ago. And now, not saying he's at the top of his salary, but his salary 8 years ago has now peaked. And now he could take care of a family. Don't worry about him living in the basement of his father's house. That's his father's house. His father's house, right? So if his father allows him to live there with his wife and children, his father's teaching him how to save to get his own, right? I didn't think of it that way. You didn't. But something's not right about your story about you giving him back a ring, and in no time he's remarried. He's married with children, and as you said, live in his father's basement. Yeah. But I'm going to buy my house now, right? But you're buying it by yourself, where you're going to have to work hard to maintain that house. His wife is not going to have to work hard to maintain that house because he's taking on majority of the burden. See the difference? So you sitting here telling this 30-year-old what she shouldn't do. You're not the best person to tell her that. That's why, right? So I'm saying to her, that's why women keep women single. Because instead of you telling her, this is the time for her to get married, you're telling her to go live her life. So a little bit of backstory, and I'm back to the 30-year-old. I asked her, well, if he's 30, she said, I asked her how old he was. She said he's 30. I said, well, he may also have some reservation because if he's 30, he's nowhere near his financial goal yet or peak. She said, well, he's 30 years old and he has a couple of garages where she said he's well off. He's well off. So I said to her, so you have a 30-year-old. Does he have children? No. So let me get this straight. You are with a 30-year-old that's financially secure and you're waiting? She said, yeah. I said, now hear me out. He hasn't given you a ring or proposed to you. No. So you think you're waiting or he's waiting? 58-year-old. Well, she's saying she's trying to find herself again. Let her answer. Listen to what's been said, because you said now Her not answering me right now tells me that she's thinking about what's going on in her life, right? Because they pass up some great men right next to them looking for something else because you think they have some red flags. A 30-year-old male making over $100,000, almost $200,000 a year, own property, and you finding red flags. Most 30-year-olds are not making that type of money. Right? He said, I never thought about that. So your homework, so I said to her, so your homework tonight is finding out why he's not proposing to you. Because you're saying you're not ready to get married, but you don't control that. So you're telling me right now, hear me out now. I said to the 50-year-old, let her answer this. If he came right now with your family and his family and proposed to you, you would tell him no? Her answer was, he didn't. Right. So don't say you're not ready for marriage. He never proposed to you. So I say this to women, older women, whatever mistake you made in your life, don't push it off on the younger generation. That's your life. You did that to yourself. But you guys refuse to let the younger generation know, listen, if you find a man and he checks all the boxes, marry him. Instead of having them wait until they're, and again, she's 30, not 25, 30. And somebody at 30 as a man is interested in her and is a 58-year-old, instead of telling her you should get married, is telling her to go live her life. You see how that makes no sense? It makes no sense. You can't make this up. That I see women keep women single. Just because they want you to be as miserable as they are. So, I know I'm going to get some comments on this, but I want you women to understand this. Stop telling the younger women to go live their life because you didn't live yours. You're now sitting around waiting for somebody to propose to you. And that's what you're mad at. That you missed that point in your life that nobody's not proposing to you. So you have to take whatever you get. I'm going to talk about what the 32-year-old spoke about in the next video. But I just wanted to let everybody know that women, stop telling women to go live their lives. Stop telling them what you're doing when you're going home to your house by yourself. And you're telling them you feel great. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because as a man, me living by myself when I was young was wonderful. But my whole thing was I wanted a family. Because I wanted to share this with somebody. Right? And I had a house and my wife made it a home. Right? So what is the point of having a house and you don't have somebody to share it with? Stop telling the younger generation to go live their lives when you didn't live yours. The 80s and 90s, you guys had the music. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. You need a J.O.B. But a lot of y'all now past that prime time. And instead of telling the women, now, listen, I missed my mark. I think you guys should do this. You're telling them something entirely different because you want them to be as miserable as you are. So YouTube, again, this is for my page, Power of the Spoken Words. Go to my page and view it and tell me what you think. Have a nice day.